calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. My whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
I wanted to find a bank with a purpose. I wanted to find a place that would take my money and not use it to cause the financial crisis, but to fix the financial crisis and to help end income inequality.
The people that we employ are usually clients right off the streets. They don't have an account, but Amalgamated is willing to get that started for them.
Their reputation supporting the working man, I think, speaks for itself. This is a bank that cares for their customers, and I appreciate that.
We were able to access a construction loan through the bank's programs, and that loan has helped us house 28 families in the community.
Amalgamated is a bank that was started for and about working people.
Many of our customers have a deep commitment to advocating for social and economic justice. We share that commitment, and we're not afraid to stand up and say that we need to change some of the way that the country does business.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
The most important issue on this planet right now is to protect and conserve biodiversity in the world's oceans. And I don't think people realize just how intimate our connection is with the oceans themselves. Not only do they provide the very foundation of life and control our weather, but life just simply could not exist without a healthy ocean. The real problem, though, is apathy. It's all out of sight. It's all out of mind, and people don't even think about it. But it doesn't matter whether you live in Peoria or on the coast. The fact is, whatever happens in the ocean affects all life forms on the planet Earth. If the oceans die, then civilization collapses. We all die. We cannot live on this planet without the oceans. This is, in fact, not the planet Earth. It's the planet ocean, but because we're a land-dwelling species, we refer to it as Earth. But it is the planet ocean, and the oceans are the heart and the foundation of all life on the planet.
Hello, hello, everybody. August 25 on a Thursday. Here we go, the Bill Press Show. So good to see you today. Thanks so much for tuning in here to the Bill Press Show on your local progressive talk radio station, but also right here on Free Speech TV and on TawkrTV, our video stream worldwide, youtube.com/TawkrTV. Our conversation about the news of the day on this Thursday. We look forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's a two-way street. So come on, let us know what you think about the news of the day by giving us a call at 866-55-PRESS, sending us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, and on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. Hillary Clinton out there attacking Donald Trump as a candidate of the extreme right-wing white bigot part of the Republican Party, people that she calls the alt-right. And she identifies Donald Trump as appealing to that extreme element of our society, which is a pretty easy argument to make when you realize that Donald Trump has been endorsed by and refused to repudiate the endorsement of former Klan leader David Duke. Meanwhile, Donald Trump continues his attack on the Clinton Foundation, accusing Bill and Hillary Clinton of setting up a business so they could profit from it by setting up meetings, tons of meetings when she was Secretary of State. He's got his facts wrong. It's not a business. It is a nonprofit foundation. They actually took not a penny from the foundation in salary or fees or goodies. And out of 154 meetings that Hillary had with non-government officials, 85 of them were donors to the foundation who represent only 3% of all the meetings she held in her first 2 years as Secretary of State. But why do you expect Donald Trump to get his facts right? Do you see what I mean? So much to talk about. We didn't even get to Italy or what happened in Afghanistan yesterday or on and on. All of it, though, we've got it covered on the Bill Press Show. Good to have you with us.
This is the Bill Press Show.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today.
Or a book report to give.
I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school.
I wish I was in school.
I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked thrown up against the wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
On your TV and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Is Donald Trump qualified to be president? Marco Rubio refuses to answer that question. Oh, man, these Republicans are really rallying behind Donald Trump, aren't they? Hey, hello, everybody. Great to see you today on a Thursday, August 25. We're back together again, the whole team here, and all of you there on the radio and on television. So good to be back together here on the Bill Press Show. That's me. We got the next 3 hours to tackle the news of the day, the politics of the day particularly, and to chew it up, spit it out, and then go on with the day. 866-55-PRESS is the toll-free number. That's how you join the conversation. And it is a two-way street. It's a town hall. It's a conversation every morning about the issues of the day. Love hearing from you in all corners of this great country of ours. And love getting your comments as well on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Again, we're with you on your local progressive talk radio station. We're with you on the TuneIn app or the iHeart Radio app, where you connect to one of our great radio affiliates if you're not lucky enough to have one where you live. And we're here with you on Free Speech TV as well. Our base, Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, our studio right here in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, with Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson leading the team again today.
Bill.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. We got 3 days in a row. We have the whole team here. You know, this is setting a new world record.
For the summer? That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
That's true. Things are about to change. But we, it may not be true tomorrow. We have, we have a better record for this summer than Congress does, for sure.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, you know.
That's a pretty low bar, though.
It is a very low bar, right? Ray Rogers, on the job as our screener here, ready for your calls. If you haven't talked to Ray, then give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. And Cyprian Bolding has got us looking good, on as good as he can on Free Speech, as good as he, given what he's got to work with, that is, Free Speech TV. And we got the final word on the health of the candidates yesterday. I mean, Rudy Giuliani's been out there insinuating, actually alleging, that Hillary Clinton is just basically on death's doorstep. And is probably not going to live long enough to get elected, let alone be sworn in as the next president of the United States. So somebody asked Ben Carson about this yesterday. Of course, Dr. let's not forget, Dr. Ben Carson, right? The Trump supporter. He said, yeah, we got 2 elderly people and we shouldn't trust the health of either one of them. Here he is.
I think that somebody who is running for president of the United States, particularly if they're elderly, and that would include both major candidates, should disclose their medical history. And I'm not talking about from a year ago or 2 years ago. I'm talking about currently.
Currently.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, you, Donald Trump.
Thanks, buddy.
You're 70. Hillary's only 68. So, yeah. Do you think
I realize now how much I miss listening to Ben Carson.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's just such a high wire act of whether or not he's going to make it to the end of his sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without, falling asleep.
So the Trump campaign puts him out there, right? They expect him to say, Donald Trump, I'm a doctor. he's the best shape of any patient I ever saw, right? That's what they want him to say.
They said.
Yeah, this man, he's got the strength of a 40-year-old and the heart of a 40-year-old, the body of a... Instead he goes out and says, yeah, all these elderly people, when they come out of the nursing home to run for president, they really ought to release their medical records, especially if like Donald Trump there.
Yeah.
Elderly. You got a call from Donald Trump afterwards.
Thanks, Ben.
Hey, Ben. Shut up.
I'm not so elderly, Ben.
All right. We got a great lineup today with Susan Page joining us from USA Today, Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio, one of our good friends, and then we'll have reporters in from Huffington Post, MSNBC, and Daily Beast. And the facts. Don't hear much about the Clinton Foundation. The facts on the Clinton Foundation next, but first...
This is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. It's been a while since we talked about it. Well, there's a good reason why we haven't been talking about it very much. Now, when it first hit the scene in July, it had a peak of 45 million daily users. But Bloomberg took a look at the raw data and found out that they are actually losing users, and not just a little bit. They have sunk by more than 12 million users since the start of August. So now their daily users are only at a measly 30 million per day. But again, remember, when it started out at 45, they shed quite a large bit there. So might be a fad for some. What are you doing over there?
Take care of my cocktail.
It's like
using a new instrument.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Cocktail.
I don't know either what's going on.
Anyway, Pokemon Go, not quite as popular as it used to be, but still.
And I can't believe it started in July.
Yeah,
I would have thought it started in like April. I feel like it's been around
it just
forever.
like rocketed in popularity, and it hasn't been around that long.
No.
It really hasn't been around that long. We go up to
So how many people are still using it? Do the math.
30 million.
So it's 30
every day.
Still 30 million idiots.
Still 30 million. We go to Cormorant, Minnesota, where they have a new
bird.
It is.
Fun facts.
It is a bird. Cormorant is a bird. They have a. I don't know. They have a new mayor.
That's a strange name for a city.
Yeah, hey, what the heck? They have a new mayor. We say hello to Duke.
A bird?
Duke, he's not a bird, actually. He's a dog.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they have a new mayor. His name is Duke. Well, he's not a new mayor, I should say. He won re-election.
Bird dog?
Bird dog. He's bird dogging it. Duke is a 9-year-old Great Pyrenees. He won his third term as honorary mayor of Cormorant Township on Saturday. This is only a 1-year term that they have here. And what they do is residents get to vote. He first won in a write-in vote in 2014. And he is sort of like, essentially, he's just like a glamorous town greeter. He's just sort of like a mascot. But they do actually vote on the honorary mayor there. And so, Duke got the call. And right here in Washington, D.C. last night, it was the Nationals versus the Orioles.
Don't talk about it.
Oh, it was bad.
Bad series.
Yeah, really bad series for the Nationals. But the best part of the game was before the game even started. Katie Ledecky walked out to throw out the first pitch. She was accompanied by reigning MVP Bryce Harper. She walked out to the mound wearing all of her medals that she won in the Rio Olympics. And as you can imagine, it's probably pretty hard to throw a first pitch with 5 medals hanging around your neck.
Right.
So she slowly took the medals off and handed them to Bryce Harper, who stood by her side and just held her medals for her as she threw the first pitch, which was a pretty good pitch, by the way, right down the middle.
I saw, right down the middle.
Yeah.
I urge you, watch that video if you haven't yet.
It's so great. I'll tweet it out if you haven't
Putting
seen it.
the medals on Bryce Harper's arm.
He's just he's essentially just like a coat rack.
I love it.
But for medals,
I love
right?
it.
The reigning National League MVP is just reduced to holding her medals. It's great. It's awesome.
All right. Good for her to have her back running with glory she brought to the United States and to the Washington area. Yes, indeed. Donald Trump continuing yesterday his attacks on the Clinton Foundation. That dominated the news yesterday, dominated both shows that I did on CNN yesterday afternoon. As he said out in down in Austin, Texas, a couple of days ago, he sort of summed it up that this is what's wrong, he says, with the Clinton Foundation.
It is impossible to figure out where the Clinton Foundation ends and the State Department begins.
He said, they went on to say that it's very clear that the Clintons had set up a business so they could profit from public service. And he went on last night in Tampa to say that 50% of the people that Hillary met with when she was Secretary of State were donors to the foundation.
Now it looks like it's 50% of the people that saw her had to make contributions to the Clinton Foundation. Wait till you see ultimately what she did for all of those people.
Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I really looked into it yesterday, really did some more research into it, talked to a few people, and it really studied that AP report that this was based on. And by the way, the AP report, I've got to say, people are attacking the media. I think the AP did a good job on this report. They have been asking for years now for the records of Hillary Clinton's, how she spent her time as Secretary of State, the people she met with, boom, boom, boom. They've still, to this day, the State Department has only released 2 years' records, the first 2 years. So that's all they had to look at. And the headline on their story, looking at the first 2 years, were, quote, many donors to Clinton Foundation met with her at State. Doesn't say half, doesn't say most of, it says many donors. Fact. That is a fact. And what's wrong with Donald Trump and his allegation is he's lying. He's lying about just about everything that he says about the foundation. First of all, you heard him say that it's a business. It's not a business. It's a non-profit foundation. You heard him say that they have set it up so they could profit from it. That's not true at all. Neither Bill Clinton nor Hillary Clinton, nor Chelsea, so far as I know, certainly the first two, have taken 1 penny from the foundation in terms of salary. They made their money giving speeches. We know that. No salary from the foundation, no fees from the foundation, no goodies from the foundation. They did not personally profit from the foundation at all. The other fact is that Donald Trump gets wrong is that it's half of the donors. As a matter of fact, again, look at the AP story. She met with over 3,000 people in the first 2 years when she was Secretary of State. Most of them, by far, given the nature of the job, the people she met with were government officials, other government officials, either from the United States or from countless foreign countries. She was Secretary of State, right? So out of 3,000, only 154 were non-governmental people. Again, this is the Associated Press. And out of the 154, 85 of them had given, which is more than half, had given contributions to the Clinton Foundation. So it's not over half. It's actually 3% of all the people she met with in her first 2 years. And finally, final fact, there is zero evidence that any of those people she met with ever got anything out of the meeting. No special favors from her or for the Obama administration. All they got was a meeting or a phone call. So those are the facts. Now, to that, I think you have to add one other fact. The other fact is this is, first of all, on the throat, there was nothing illegal about setting up a meeting. Let's be sure we understand that, too. And as I said yesterday, the foundation, Clinton Foundation, in its existence, has done a tremendous amount of good around the world with all the money that it raised. Nobody can deny that. But there is still, as I started to say, the final fact is this does leave a perception problem. And the perception problem is that it was a pay-to-play operation, which it wasn't, but the perception is there. That perception is bad enough when she was Secretary of State. It can't continue in the White House. They really have to build a firewall, and I think the only way to do it is that once Hillary is elected the next president of the United States, then the Clinton Foundation just has to go away. as you said, Peter, yesterday, maybe they'll come back in 8 years.
Sure.
Meanwhile, other organizations, the Gates Foundation, the Carter Center, as our friend Ike suggested yesterday, the Red Cross can pick up the baton and carry on that great work of the foundation. But any question that the way to get to President Clinton, Hillary Clinton, would be to give money to our foundation, you got to just destroy any chance of that being raised.
You heard it in that Trump clip, as you mentioned. He says to meet with her, they had to make this contribution, which you're right is not true, but that would be the argument for 8 years of a Hillary Clinton presidency.
Yeah, can't let it happen.
It would just be nonstop.
So the facts are they did nothing wrong. I think they were a little sloppy in setting up some of these meetings, but there's nothing wrong, nothing illegal. But now's the time to just make the decision that if this election goes the way we think it's going to go, there'll be no more Clinton Foundation. What do you think? Is that too harsh? 866-55-PRESS. Let's talk about it right here on Thursday, August 25, The Bill Press Show.
Your place to talk about the 2016 election. This is The Bill Press Show.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today.
Or a book report to give.
I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school.
I wish I was in school.
I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To
not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Press Show.
25 minutes after the hour, and talking about the Clinton Foundation. Before we get to your calls, we got to say this. It is kind of, maybe just a little more than kind of hypocritical of Donald Trump to be the one who's making this charge. Because, I learned yesterday, Donald Trump himself actually gave $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. So he must have thought they were doing something good. He also, remember, when he started his campaign, and it was pointed out that he'd given a lot of money to a lot of Democrats and a lot of politicians, including a lot of Democrats, including Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump said, of course I did. I gave money because I wanted favors from these people, right?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
wanted to pay to play.
Yeah.
He was bragging about paying to play, right? And that's what he said. That's what it's all about. I might also point out that we do know, the reason we know so much about the Clinton Foundation is 4 times a year, they release the names of all their donors and how much money they gave. That's a little different than the Donald and his tax returns.
Yeah.
We don't know how much money he
No
owes
clue.
to whom, including the Bank of China, as some people have pointed out. Let's jump out to Chicago. Our friend Joey. What do you say, Joey?
I was going to say what you said, Bill. You know,
Yeah.
you want to know if it's a business and if Clinton's made any money on this, all you got to do is look at her taxes, because she filed her taxes.
Yeah.
And showed her taxes, unlike Mr. Trump. And I know a good Secret Service name for him, Pinocchio. That should be his code name, Pinocchio, for Donald Trump.
I'll pass it along, Joey.
Nice.
That's a great idea, Pinocchio. Yeah, you can see his nose grow every one of those meetings. While we're out listening to with our good friends at WCPT, here is Stephen from Aurora, Illinois. Hi, Stephen.
Why is the media giving Donald Trump an ultimate pass? Because he is the ultimate freeloader. Since he's got campaign money, he's tried to repay his own loans to his campaign. He's paid his businesses first before. He's even had a commercial. He's had his rent and Trump Towers go up 500%. He's bought books at full retail with campaign money. He is the worst, and he's getting a free pass on it.
He's making money running for president, Stephen. And you know, I think half of the salaries have gone to his kids, right? Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. He is a total freeloader, which is why I really do believe what a lot of people have said, that he's running for president in order to improve his brand and to make more money on his hotels and his golf courses and his shirts and his ties and his steaks and his wine, none of which are grown or made in the United States.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself.
I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfast.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Can't catch the entire show? Listen to BP in 3, where we turn 3 hours into 3 minutes. Find it every day at BP Show on Twitter or at BillPressShow.com.
Here we go now, 33 minutes after the hour. It is the Bill Press Show on Thursday, August 25, live from our nation's capital and brought to you today in part by Amalgamated Bank. Amalgamated Bank, a bank, yes, believe it or not, a bank with progressive values for almost a century now. Amalgamated has been the first choice bank of progressive organizations and individuals nationwide. Check out their good work at amalgamatedbank.com. And since most of us very seldom walk into a bank anymore, do most of our banking online, you can bank at Amalgamated no matter where you live in this country and be a proud progressive at the same time. Sign up at amalgamatedbank.com. Been talking about the concerted attacks on the part of the Trump campaign against the Clinton Foundation, most of it based on a pack of lies, although independent of any wrongdoing, independent of any illegality. There is a legitimate question about whether a fundraising organization, even a nonprofit, led by a former president of the United States or his daughter or the new president's daughter could continue taking money from people around the world while she was president, Hillary was president of the United States. I think clearly the answer to that is no. But in the meantime, the Clinton campaign has been responding very aggressively to the Donald Trump attacks. Hillary Clinton herself yesterday with a phone conversation with Anderson Cooper on CNN saying ain't nothing to all these charges.
I know there's a lot of smoke and there's no fire. This AP report, put it in context. It excludes nearly 2,000 meetings I had with world leaders, plus countless other meetings with U.S. government officials when I was Secretary of State. It looked at a small portion of my time, and it drew the conclusion and made the suggestion that my meetings with people were somehow due to connections with the foundation instead of their status as highly respected global leaders. That is absurd.
It is absurd. It is just too bad. And you remember, this was the Obama administration. President Obama knew this could prove to be a problem when he named Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. If you remember at the time, there was a lot of negotiation. There was a lot of conversation about how to separate what Bill was doing with the foundation from what she was doing as Secretary of State. They should have built a firewall. Now, I think they intended to build a firewall, but obviously there were some leaks in the firewall. That's why I say, moving forward, when she's in the White House, you can't depend on a firewall. They just got to totally separate the two. No more foundation. And you know what? If that is the price that Bill Clinton has to pay, ending his foundation, if that's the price he has to pay for Hillary Clinton's election as President of the United States,
that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Sorry.
That's I think, a fair price to have to pay.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And that's the end of the story. It's not the end of the story for our friend Bernie Sanders. We know that when Bernie started, and I've told you this story many times, when I first talked to him about running for president, it was very clear, and he made it clear himself, that his goal was not so much in the beginning to win the nomination, although once he got started, he realized, this might actually be possible. But in the beginning, his goal was to insert and to inject progressive issues into the debate in the Democratic primary for 2016, because he knew that these were issues that American people cared about, the American people were ready for, and that Hillary Clinton herself would not raise these issues unless somebody else did. And maybe it was going to be Elizabeth Warren, but she decided not to run. So Bernie said, all right, I'll get in there, and I do it. And he did it with huge success and met an incredible response, which surprised even him on the part of the American people. And as we discussed very briefly yesterday, he succeeded in changing the whole course of debate of presidential politics in 2016. He succeeded in moving the Democratic Party back to its roots, back to its base of caring for the middle class. He succeeded in making the central issues in the primary, minimum wage and health care for all Americans, single-payer health care, and getting rid of these trade deals that have been so injurious to American workers, and prison reform and sentencing reform, all those issues that he talked about. He made them the centerpiece of the debates and of the whole Democratic primary process, and he succeeded in pulling Hillary Clinton to the left, changing her position on TPP, changing her position on even on Social Security and on Obamacare, changing her position on the Keystone Pipeline, changing her position on the minimum wage. And then he succeeded in getting the Democratic Party to adopt in Philadelphia the most progressive platform that this country has ever seen. So that was his first goal. And his second goal, again, was to build a political movement. He promised to do that no matter what happened. And yesterday, he came through on his promise, announcing up in Burlington, Vermont, and by the way, while there were some 2,000 gatherings of Bernie supporters all across the country, he announced the news that there's a new movement, a new political organization, a new grassroots political organization called Our Revolution. Here is Bernie making the big announcement up in Burlington, Vermont.
As I have said 1,000,000 times, and what I believe in the essence of my soul, is that real change never, ever takes place from the top on down. It's not some guy signing a bill. It always takes place from the bottom on up.
Yep, the bottom up, that's where change takes place. And without that, you're not going to see it. That's one of the reasons why we haven't been able to get progressive legislation, campaign reform, immigration reform, or whatever through the United States Congress. There hasn't been that groundswell of support among progressive Americans. And Bernie Sanders says, we're going to change that. We're going to build a movement that's going to change that. In terms of talking about the platform, Bernie said yesterday, adopting the platform is one thing, right? Carrying it out is another.
We are going to bring that platform alive and make it the blueprint for moving the Democrats forward in Congress and all across this country.
So the question to you is, can he do it? 866-55-PRESS. Do you think he will succeed, or do you think the Bernie Sanders movement will just disappear? I think not. I think this is for real. I think the fact that Bernie had such huge crowds around the country, that he won so many states, what was it, 21 states or something like that, a 21 contest at least, that he raised $230 million, $216 million of that from small donations around the country. I think the people are hungry for political change. Americans are hungry for political change, and that they see Bernie as their leader, the person who can bring about that change, and will sign on. I intend to get as involved as I can in our revolution. It is being led by Jeff Weaver, who was President Senator Sanders' campaign manager. Did a great job running his campaign. I'm going to have lunch with Jeff Weaver next week and talk about what I can do to help. I think it's a very, very important movement. And as Bernie outlined yesterday, their focus is going to be, yes, on getting that all those ideas in the platform actually enacted into law through the Congress. But in order to do that, we've got to get some new people into the Congress, some new progressive blood into the Congress. So the other thing this Hour of Evolution is going to be all about is supporting progressive candidates for state legislature, for the United States Congress, and for the United States Senate, led by Bernie Sanders.
Republicans know how to win elections. They do.
They do.
This election might not be the greatest case study in that, but in another 8 years, I'm assuming Donald Trump is going to lose. It might be a controversial statement, but in another 8 years, they're going to come back with a stronger, more refined message. They're going to get back to their conservative roots. They're going to get a real candidate, and Democrats are going to have to be ready. They cannot just sort of say, okay, well, this is what the Republican Party is now. We don't have to worry. We're going to have to run against clowns for the rest of our lives. They'll come back. They will come back. I really do think so. And so you've got to be ready. This is really important.
Absolutely. And I think this is extremely important, too. If Hillary Clinton's going to succeed in the White House with her agenda, she's going to need the support of Bernie Sanders and this grassroots organization, Our Revolution. Check it out. 866-55-PRESS, our toll-free number. Susan Page, covering 2016 for USA Today, Washington Bureau Chief, joins us in the next segment. We'll be right back.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
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 Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend.
As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, 13 minutes before the top of the hour. This is the end of the summer, a quiet time before Labor Day, when we're just supposed to forget all about politics and just enjoy the summer. But boy, that's not the way it has turned out. A lot of back and forth this week about the Clinton Foundation, and now Hillary Clinton out there accusing Donald Trump of being the candidate of the white supremacist, or that she calls the alt-right. That doesn't leave people like me and Susan Page any time to relax. Susan Page joins us on our newsline for Washington Bureau Chief for USA Today. Hey, Susan, what's going on?
Bill, this is how we relax.
Oh, is that it?
This is not just our vocation. This is our avocation as well.
Give me a break, right? I don't know. So do you think, Susan, that this Clinton Foundation story has any legitimacy or any legs?
I do think it has legs and legitimacy, because it goes to kind of how far you push the edge of the envelope if you're a person named Clinton and in a position of authority. I think it raises the same old questions that have been raised throughout their careers in public life, and they can argue that it's not legitimate, and they were certainly pushing back hard yesterday on some of the particulars. But is this going to be around through October and into the election day? You bet.
Well, first of all, that depends, right, on Donald Trump's discipline in a certain sense, right? Which some of my Republican friends that I talked to yesterday, that's what they are concerned about, that they think it's a legitimate issue, but that Donald Trump, within 24 hours, could be off talking about something else, right?
Well, here's an interesting statistic. Okay, so the bar is set pretty low for Donald Trump in discipline, right?
Yeah.
But he's now given 7 speeches in a row using a teleprompter.
Oh, I didn't realize
it shows that at least at the moment he is pursuing, and under this new management that he's put on his campaign, he is pursuing what is clearly a somewhat more disciplined and more traditional kind of campaign. But you know, Bill, I would also say it's not only up to Donald Trump to press this case. The fact is, the most damaging story about it this week came from the Associated Press, which went back and looked at some of her schedules and who she was meeting with. So the press will do its traditional role of scrutiny regardless of what I think the Republicans do.
I must say, I've read several times that AP story. I know what the Clinton campaign said about it. I think it was a fair story.
I think so too. And
fairly reported, accurately reported, carefully reported. And, they didn't say over half of the people she met with were foundation. They said out of non-governmental officials, right, 154, 85 of them had given donations to the foundation, which is true.
And, they also made the case that they found nothing illegal.
Yes.
And one important factor is we don't yet have an example of somebody who got action as a result, but they did get access. And maybe the shocking thing is that this is what happens all the time, that if you want to meet with a public official, if you want to meet with a member of Congress or a senator, the easiest way to get there is to be a contributor to their campain.
Shocking, right?
So
that is
it's a little bit like gambling in the casino.
Yeah.
On the other hand.
Yes. Now, here's the other question is, why didn't they just build a firewall, right, between the foundation and the State Department from the get-go?
And inexplicable. Why did she use a private email server exclusively as Secretary of State? Hard to understand. Mm-hmm. And why did she go out and give high-priced speeches to Wall Street firms after she left Secretary of State? The issues that have been most damaging for her in the primaries and now are self-inflicted. As with Donald Trump, by the way, we have two candidates who are dealing with problems they created for themselves.
But, it's like none of these are necessarily career killers. They're just giant migraine headaches.
That's a great way to put it. And, if they were at odds with kind of the existing concerns people had about them, they would be less important than the fact that they reinforce existing concerns.
So this is such an unusual campaign.
Oh, man.
There is no campaigns I see as being won or lost on the issues, right? You're either you're for invading Iraq or against invading Iraq, or you're for universal health care or you're against it. There are no issues in this campaign. They're these personal or professional attacks, right?
Bill, I was thinking about this last night. If you were a voter and you wanted the election to be about you, what is this candidate going to do for you and your life and your family and your kids?
We don't know, do we?
Who knows? This is a candidacy of each of them telling you the other candidate is too scary to vote for.
Wow. Right. Oh, man. Wow. There we go. And how would you like to be Mike Pence and walk in a barbershop and... Poor guy. And the barber didn't even know who he was.
But, boy, did he handle it well.
He did.
He did. Yeah. He didn't act like, how can you possibly not know who I am? He did the Midwestern thing, which I can speak of as a Kansan, where you don't automatically assume everyone knows who you are. But I do think, didn't the barber wonder why there were cameras rolling?
That's what I was... Yeah.
Because, CNN posted this on Facebook Live as the haircut was taking place.
I know, yeah. It was streamed live. Okay. Well, final question. Can you please tell us, what does it mean when you more humanely deport 11 million people?
It means you got me.
Yeah, right. It is kind of strange, isn't it? We hear this talk. Oh, it's going to be a softer approach, a more humane approach. Susan, he's not going to flip-flop on the wall or on the deportation.
Well, not on the wall, but on the deportation force, man, he's backed way off that, and he's down to enforcing the law vigorously, which, by the way, is President Obama's position.
Yeah, exactly. The deporter-in-chief, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know, I'm telling you. Well, it gets weirder and weirder, and we have, 75 days left?
75 days.
We'll be sad when this is over.
I think we will.
Yeah, it's going to get really boring.
Yeah.
Really, really boring.
As much as we complain about, we'll be sad when it's over.
Yeah.
All right. Susan, you have a great weekend.
You
all right,
too,
we'll talk
Bill.
to you next week. Thanks so
Thanks.
much. She's the best. Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief, USA Today.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
At
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't even. And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Being prepared is a part of who you are. But it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Congressman Tim Ryan, top of the next hour.
Do you remember the name Simon Cowell?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right.
I love Simon.
Well, he's still a judge on America's Got Talent, not on American Idol. That show's no longer with us, but he's still judging. And he spoke about the presidential candidates. He said he's heard Tim Kaine play the harmonica, and he was very good, and he really wanted to have Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump on America's Got Talent. He says, I'm formally inviting them to be a part of this final year because, he said, he heard Tim Kaine, and he's very good, and he says, I think we could take it even further and see what they can do.
You mean like singing?
Singing or dancing. They have to have a talent, some sort of marketable talent to be on that show.
Yeah, who cares? Sorry. I hate...
I mean, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard.
I think it's a dumb idea, yes.
Yeah, right. And it would be monumentally embarrassing for both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in 2008, all of them went on professional wrestling, so it's not like it'd be unprecedented.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, right. Why not?
There you go. Tucker did it.
This is the Bill Press Show.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today.
Or a book report to give.
I wish I was in school.
I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess.
I wish I was in school.
I wish I was in school.
I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
The most important issue on this planet right now is to protect and conserve biodiversity in the world's oceans. And I don't think people realize just how intimate our connection is with the oceans themselves. Not only do they provide the very foundation of life and control our weather, but life just simply could not exist without a healthy ocean. The real problem, though, is apathy. It's all out of sight, it's all out of mind, and people don't even think about it. But it doesn't matter whether you live in Peoria or on the coast. The fact is, whatever happens in the ocean affects all life forms on the planet Earth. If the oceans die, then civilization collapses. We all die. We cannot live on this planet without the oceans. This is, in fact, not the planet Earth. It's the planet ocean, but because we're a land-dwelling species, we refer to it as Earth. But it is the planet ocean, and the oceans are the heart and the foundation of all life on the planet.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump tied in North Carolina, another battleground state that it looks like could easily swing Hillary Clinton's way. Hello, everybody. Thursday, August 25. What do you say? Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. And thanks for being part of the Bill Press Show as we come to you live all across this great land of ours, coast to coast, north, south, east, west. We're here with you on your local progressive talk radio station, and we're here with you on Free Speech TV as well. Thank you for joining us. Remember, it's a conversation. It's a little town hall every day, and so we want to hear from you what you think about the issues of the day. Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. You are part of the team led here in Washington, D.C. by Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson.
Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Good morning.
Here we go.
I know. We're into it. Ray Rogers. Ready for your calls at 866-55-PRESS. You pass that screen test, you get on the air. And Cyprian Bolding, our videographer, on the job here on Free Speech TV. We got a lot going on in the next couple of hours. Stephen Colbert is back last night. He took a look at the standings, particularly Donald Trump's pledge this week that he is going to get 95%. He's being a little humble here, right? Only 95% of the African-American vote across this land of ours. As Stephen Colbert pointed out last night, doesn't look quite that way.
Over the last couple of weeks, Trump has been having a tough time with one key demographic, voters. Especially, it turns out, African-American voters. In fact, among African Americans, he is polling at 1%, ranking him with the black community somewhere between country music and the Milwaukee Police Department. Somewhere right in there.
How great. About that? I don't know. Very well done, Stephen Colbert. Hillary Clinton, with a big speech planned for today to talk about how Donald Trump has been appealing. You know, remember Abraham Lincoln talking about politics is all about appealing to the better angels of our nature. Well, Hillary Clinton pointing out today that what Donald Trump has been doing is appealing to the worst angels of our nature, if you will, or the worst elements of American society. She gave a little preview of her speech last night in a phone conversation with Anderson Cooper on CNN, saying these are the people that Donald Trump is signaling to and talking to.
Is taking a hate movement mainstream. He's brought it into his campaign. He's bringing it to our communities and our countries. And, you know, someone who's questioned the citizenship of the first African-American president, who has courted white supremacists, who's been sued for housing discrimination against communities of color, who's attacked a judge for his Mexican heritage and promised a mass deportation force, is someone who is, you know, very much peddling bigotry and prejudice and paranoia.
That line of attack, line of criticism on the part of Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump Joining us to talk about this and other elements of the 2016 campaign, our good friend from Ohio's 13th Congressional District, Congressman Tim Ryan, on our newsline this morning. Hey, Congressman, good to talk to you.
How you doing, Bill?
As always, good to join up with you. What can we expect to hear from the Secretary today?
I think more of that. I think she made the key point right there. This is a major presidential candidate who has elevated these groups and put them on the national stage and put them front and center. And I think that's the key. I mean, there always was and there is today elements in our society who are racist, who are homophobic, who are anti-women, but no one's ever thrown gas on that fire from a presidential perspective and said, yes, come on into my camp. Yes, I'll retweet your tweets. Yes, you can, you can become my campaign manager, for God's sake. I mean, no one's ever done that. It used to be in many ways a wink and a nod since the Southern strategy of Richard Nixon. But we're in new, uncharted territory. But I do think it gives the country an opportunity to hear what Hillary has to say today and really make a decision on what kind of country we want to be.
Yeah, we saw this side of Donald Trump, right? When it came to the endorsement of him by David Duke, and which he refused to repudiate, pretended he didn't even know who David Duke was. Guys. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's getting more and more apparent as people are paying more and more attention now. And wherever you go in Ohio, you go to suburban school districts. It's a multicultural school. There are multicultural areas, even in places like Ohio, where we have black and brown and gay and straight. And, for Trump to come in and try to talk to that suburban mom or suburban dad and say, no, we need to go back hundreds of years and be a pure white Aryan race, is not going to fly. And I just think it's a really bad political move on his part, and I think it's smart on Hillary to highlight this. But again, I'm trying to keep things positive, Bill. It's a real opportunity for us to say, this is where we want to go as a country. We're inclusive, we're tolerant, we care about each other, we love each other, we have our fights, we may not always like each other, but we are one country, and we're going to move forward, and we are stronger together. And what do you think of Donald Trump's appeal? It's a newfound appeal to the African-American community now, reaching out every time saying, basically, what the hell do you have to lose? You might as well vote for me. Last I saw, Congressman, in Ohio, it was 1%. He's got 1% among African-American voters.
Well, two of our major African-American leaders, Joyce Beatty, who's Congresswoman in Columbus, Marcia Fudge, Congresswoman in Cleveland, have been pushing back on that, and I think that's why you see him at just about 1% in Ohio, and I think Joyce and Marcia are looking for who the 1% are.
Yeah, right.
But I just don't think, he doesn't go to their meetings. He doesn't go to the Urban League. He doesn't go to the NAACP. So he's like a white guy sitting in a country club saying, what African-American people should do. And these broad generalizations, like every black person is poor, every black person, has to worry about getting shot walking down the street. The poverty rates are high for African-Americans, especially African-American males, and we've got a lot of work to do, but it's not everyone. It's not even close to being everyone. It's not even a majority. I mean, it's just outrageous for him to lump everybody together, which it provides insight into his worldview. It provides insight into his view of race relations in the United States. And it's like, please, Donald Trump, of all your bloviations, give me one bloviation of something you're going to do for the American people, please.
We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that yet. By the way, we also saw how he treated the Black Lives Matter protesters at his rallies earlier in the year as well. Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio's 13th Congressional District, our guest on our newsline this morning.
One of the things that I find so interesting, by the way, about this new push for African American voters is how thinly veiled he's really not trying to get African American voters. He's speaking to large white crowds.
Right.
He is really speaking down in a condescending way to the black race. These are your problems. This is your city.
I know.
You don't have jobs, right? As if he even knows. But I wonder how much of this is him trying to get African American votes, or how much of it is him just trying to tell non-white supremacist white voters that he's not racist, or try and convince them or fool them of that.
I think it's 100% him trying to make his white supporters feel semi-comfortable that they don't have to leave his rally and take a shower afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he said we're for black people. Yeah, we need to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be nice and make it a little more tolerable to those suburban soccer moms that he's not a complete racist, but his rhetoric is showing otherwise, and just a lack of understanding of the lowest common denominator. We see people who have stabbed interracial couples in towns. We've seen, I think it was down in Oklahoma, where some white guy killed. It was a Lebanese Christian neighbor of his. It's not Bill Press and Tim Ryan and you guys sitting there having a conversation about Donald Trump that we have to worry about, or even the intellectual Republicans who say, "Geez, boy, we really got screwed here. I guess we got to go with this guy, or the whole party's going to collapse." Those aren't the people we worry about. His rhetoric resonates with some people who are mentally unstable, who are on these websites,
of course,
and then they get justification from somebody they know has a lot of money. He's a Republican nominee for president. He's on TV all the time. So he in some way justifies behaviors that are racist, that are dangerous, that are violent. And to me, that ultimately is what the real problem is with Donald Trump, is that he has absolutely no clue that he's empowering those people. And that's a dangerous place to be.
Congressman, I'm going to switch gears here for a second to another issue, and that is tax returns. Eric Trump, the candidate's son, is out this morning saying he has told his father it would be foolish, that's his word, foolish for him to release his tax returns because, this is Eric Trump talking, quote, "You'd have a bunch of people who know nothing about taxes trying to look through and trying to come up with assumptions on things they know nothing about."
Well, let me just say, as humbly as I possibly can, if I was in line to get some of Donald Trump's inheritance, I would say the same thing.
You're right. Yeah.
I would not want to
squander
my inheritance over a political campaign. But that's exactly it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And he throws stones. He wants to talk about Barack Obama's birth certificate, produce it. He wants to talk about Hillary Clinton. And he's the least transparent candidate ever. And I can only imagine what I'm certain he's never paid taxes, and I'm pretty certain he's never given a whole lot of money to charity, in spite of his rhetoric and claims over the years. And I think that would be the least damaging. I think you're going to see a lot of investments in places and money borrowed from places that would completely repel the American public.
Yeah, and I love this thing. People who know nothing about taxes, right? I mean, that includes all the members of the media, all the American people, right? Know nothing. We all pay taxes. We know something about taxes. And the fact that every presidential candidate since, Mitt Romney's father, maybe he wasn't the first even, a Republican and Democrat, has released their tax returns.
Yeah, and we know if you're not paying any. We can piece that one together pretty easily.
I think we know what's going on. So a final question, Congressman, are you guys ever coming back to town here? We got to see you again?
What town?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame you. New number, who dis?
Well, I mean, it's clear we got some real issues. We see it, the Zika. We see what's going on in Louisiana.
I was going to ask you, if you come back, do you think there's any chance of getting any funding for the whole Zika crisis?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, it's just it's amazing how human beings can literally put their head in the sand and ignore problems that are happening. And it's interesting to point out too, Bill, that this tragedy in Louisiana with the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of those Republican members of Congress who were standing behind President Obama voted against relief for the Sandy hurricane victims.
Wow.
So, that's what you're dealing with. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to support funding for research unless I have someone who has Alzheimer's in my family, or I know someone who has a certain cancer, or I know someone who has MS or this or that. I'm not going to vote for Hurricane Sandy relief because I live in Louisiana and that's in New Jersey, and they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But when there's something happening in Louisiana, I need help. That's the kind of divisions that are in our society today, and I don't even know. We're supposed to go back in a week or so, and I don't know if we'll go back. And if we do, we may name some post offices and come back home. And that may be it, because I don't think they want to strike up any more controversy over the next few weeks going into the election.
All right, Congressman, so good to touch base with you again today. If you do come back in town, come back and see us. Come by and see us.
I would love that. I'll take you up on that offer. Thanks, Bill.
All right, great. Congressman Tim Ryan, great job representing the entire country, particularly residents of Ohio's 13th Congressional District.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah! Good boys, check it
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine. Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me. Yes, sir.
See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. Yeah. but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome.
I think we're breathtaking.
And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that Bran?
Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing. I got this.
Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to getschool.com for more info.
This is the Bill Press Show.
26 minutes after the hour, Benji Sarlin from MSNBC joins us right after the half hour. Vice President Joe Biden on the job doing one of the things that he does best, which is representing the United States around the world. A very important trip. He started out in Latvia, where, remember, we played a clip of him yesterday, telling the people of Latvia and the Baltic nations that they should ignore what Donald Trump is saying. The United States is firmly committed to NATO, and we have no intention of bowing out of NATO or cutting back on NATO or whatever. We have made a pledge, and we live up to our pledges. Yesterday, he brought that same message to another country, which there were some rumors that maybe we were backing away from our support of Turkey. Vice President Joe Biden landing there yesterday, meeting with President Erdogan, and saying, first of all, you have no better friend than the U.S.
People of Turkey have no greater friend, if you'll excuse me for being so self-serving, have no greater friend than the United States of America.
I love Biden.
I did. No.
You'll excuse me for being so self-serving.
But no.
There's such a way about him.
He is so real, you know. You see, I saw the video of him coming down the steps of Air Force Two, you know, with his aviator glasses
Aviator shades,
on,
man.
But people do respect him, and they love him, and they know he's for real. And he also said this idea that somehow we were behind that coup that happened a couple of weeks ago, unsuccessful. No way, he said.
The United States of America did not have any foreknowledge of what befell you on the 15th.
And the idea that the United States might have been behind the military telling them to overthrow Erdogan was a crazy idea to begin with, but he flew all the way over there to make sure that they got the message. When we come back, yes, what happens to the Republican Party after Donald Trump crashes and burns? Is there any Republican Party left? Benji Sarlin from MSNBC.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore. And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible.
And then we're going to turn on the lights and everybody look up.
I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought.
What's your reaction? Yeah, exactly.
And unconventional methods
Okay, what else?
common.
This is their world.
I'm a teacher. I make more.
Maybe not as loud as Donald Trump, but he's a hell of a lot smarter. This is your progressive headquarters for the 2016 election, The Bill Press Show.
How about it? 33 minutes after the hour now. Here we go. It is the Bill Press Show. Coming to you live on your local progressive talk radio station. Coming to you live on Free Speech TV and also on the radio app. It's free. Download it, called TuneIn, which connects you to Progressive Voices. Progressive Voices Network, bringing you not only this program, but also Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, and Randy Rhodes. And, of course, they need some help to do so. And if you really appreciate getting access to and being able to listen to and follow your progressive talk radio hosts, including this program around the country, where you don't have a local progressive talk radio station, help out as much as you can. Go to progressivevoices.com and make your pledge today to keep progressive radio going, to keep progressive voices, the progressive voices and the TuneIn radio app alive and well. Again, go to progressivevoices.com. A lot of Republicans asking the question, oh man, looks like we're going to lose big time in the White House. What happens to the rest of the party? Will there be any party left? Benji Sarlin has been talking to a lot of those Republicans and reporting on this for MSNBC, and he joins us on our news line this morning. Hi, Benji. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Bill. How's it going?
Everything is going well, thank you. So a little angst among Republicans you discovered, right?
That's right. We surveyed a very wide range of Republicans for this story, everyone from the most hardcore Trump supporters, like Carl Palladino, who you may remember ran for governor in New York a few years back, to hardcore anti-Trump people like David Frum, the former George W. Bush speechwriter, or Tony Fratto, who's a former Bush administration official and a lobbyist now. And we found a party that was, surprise, surprise, very divided. And it's not just over Trump. Now, you have to remember the party was in a pretty tough fight between its kind of establishment wing and its more Tea Party wing, its more conservative wing. And then Trump shows up and wins the nomination as kind of none of the above. You know, he took elements from all these different groups, but he really was his own thing. So now people are looking forward to after the election where, you know, win or lose, but probably lose, they're going to have to figure out what the party actually is now that they know their voters pretty much are looking for something like Trump, or at least were in this cycle. And it's really, there's a lot of division over where to go next.
So the establishment not comfortable with Trump, nor are the Tea Party totally comfortable with Trump, is what you're saying, correct?
That's right. It's definitely kind of a none of the above. Now, on the Tea Party the last few years, you know, we had a pretty consistent dynamic. Everyone was trying to get to the right of each other. And we talked to a lot of Republicans who were describing how this is what they thought the big division was in the party before Trump. Everyone was trying to prove they were the pure conservative who would fight for conservative principles even harder than the next guy. And meanwhile, the other side was saying, look, we have to make some compromises to bring in new voters or to must-pass legislation. And then Trump shows up, and he doesn't particularly care about conservative principles, really. He rarely talks about them. He's very, very flexible on the issues. We just saw yesterday, even for his core immigration proposals, he's sort of exploring a flip-flop. And on the other side, he doesn't believe in really moderating or reaching out to any voters outside this extremely narrow slice of core supporters who are mostly blue-collar whites, which is kind of a shrinking demographic on the presidential level. So now, yep. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, so when you look ahead, right, and the establishment people are trying to figure out, okay, where do they go after presumed Trump crash and burn? And the Tea Party people are saying, okay, now where do we go with the party? But they cannot count on the fact that Trumpism is going to disappear, can they?
Not at all. And in fact, one division we found among people across the ideological spectrum was there's a serious debate over whether Trumpism is a permanent feature of the landscape from now on,
right,
or whether this was just a total fluke election. You know, there were 17 Republicans running. You had this guy who was self-funded, who had all this celebrity. The party didn't wake up early enough to stop him. Maybe this was just a weird event that will never happen again. But we talked to other people who were suggesting, look, why don't you take a look at Europe? And people like Nigel Farage, who Trump had on stage with him in Mississippi yesterday, there are far-right parties similar to what Trump represents who are gaining ground all over the world right now. It's possible that Trump is just the inevitable product of this same global trend, and this is what the Republican Party will look like.
I think the people who count on maybe Donald Trump, but the people who count on Trumpism to just disappear are kidding themselves. Yeah,
that's right. And some Republicans are suggesting that, well, we can't let Trumpism take over the party, but it's not going away. So
he's already done it. It's already happened, right?
Oh yeah, they're doomed now. I mean, it's Trump's party. But if he loses, they have to figure out how to keep it from coming back. Because Trump can run again. That is something that can totally happen, even if he loses. But B, there's nothing necessarily stopping, say, Sarah Palin from running on the exact same platform in 4 years with Breitbart backing her and for the exact same reasons winning the nomination. So some people are suggesting in the sort of reform conservative camp, well, maybe we need to make some economic concessions to Trump supporters on policy. Maybe support raising the minimum wage or giving them wage subsidies through tax credits, or maybe even moving a little further right on immigration than, the Chamber of Commerce is comfortable with, or on trade. So some people are suggesting maybe there's a way to take the populist elements of Trump without, say, the racist and bigoted and misogynist parts and separate them.
The thing that I find so hard to follow with this is that the Republican Party on a national level has been in total disarray for a long, long time. And people don't talk about that enough. Like when John McCain was the nominee. Republicans freaked out and said, oh, this guy's not conservative enough. He's not the type of candidate we need. This is why we're going to lose the election. And then they lost the election. And then when Mitt Romney got the nomination, oh, this is a guy who's even less conservative than John McCain. Yeah. And this is why we lost it. We need to get a real conservative. And now they've got Donald Trump, who is, so far off the reservation from either of those two guys. But, it's been a long time since they had a candidate who real Republicans, thinking Republicans, were able to point to and say, this is who we back, this is who we want. And is there any indication that they're ever going to get back to that?
I think what it will take for them to get back to that is for them to win a presidential election. Yeah. I think as long as they're in the wilderness like that, all these debates are always going to be tabled by opposing whoever the Democratic president is, whether it's Obama or in the future Hillary Clinton, and they're just going to be too divided. But let's say, the inevitable happens, political cycles go up and down. Let's say Hillary Clinton, becomes president, catches a bad recession. She's not particularly popular to begin with when she gets into office, and some Republican who managed to just claw their way through the primary wins. There's a chance that maybe there'll be some kind of get behind the leader effect. We saw George W. Bush manage to do this with, his compassionate conservatism, things like expanding, prescription drug benefits for Medicare, things like a more active role in education. Those were very controversial on the right, too. But because he was the guy in charge, he managed to get the party to go along with them without too much trouble, just because they didn't want to undermine their leader. They finally had a president they could call their own. I think they need something like that to happen.
What happens, and let's come back to your premise about where the Republican Party goes next, right? Post Donald Trump. What happens if they also lose the Senate and the House? Are we talking third party?
Well, this is a problem. Third party is a problem no matter what. If they lose the Senate and the House, you might suddenly see unexpectedly a burst of action from a Hillary Clinton presidency, which could also create new issues for the party, which is Democrats could actually maybe pass immigration reform or pass some serious, a budget that includes some, serious goodies for the middle class, like subsidies for childcare, say, that are politically difficult to oppose. But there's also this third-party problem in no matter what happens, which is, say the next time a Trumpy candidate shows up, or maybe Trump himself, Republicans, maybe the RNC announces at the beginning, look, we went through this before. We're not going to acknowledge this person as a Republican. Even if you win the nomination, we're not going to support you. Just so you know at the outset, we're not doing this again. You could see a third party popping up. Now, similarly, imagine that, you have another situation like this where a Trump-like candidate wins. It's not hard to imagine the more establishment wing, people like, Mitt Romney, who are not supporting Trump right now, saying, look, we told you the last time. We only come back to the party if you nominate someone who, is at least barely tolerable by our standards. So, that possibility of an independent running, it's not going to go away.
What's amazing to me is here we are, not even Labor Day, just almost Labor Day, but still 75 days or so before the election. And Republicans are already talking about what happens after Donald Trump loses. It's not, and today we see, or yesterday Jeff Flake says that Donald Trump cannot and should never be elected president of the United States. Today, Marco Rubio, I guess it was yesterday, he told reporters he refused to answer the question whether or not Donald Trump is qualified to be president. It's a party in disarray, Benji. I think you got to say that. It really is.
There's no way around it. This is a really unprecedented kind of split for the party, the kind of which they haven't seen really since 1964, when the party started to transition from its kind of, old, Northeastern Republican style to this kind of Barry Goldwater, more conservative, more libertarian style. We're seeing that transition now. In this case, it's from Reagan Republicanism. They've had this formula that's worked a very long time of a specific coalition of voters between, social conservatives and national security conservatives and big business. And it just isn't a coherent policy platform, and it isn't a coherent winning coalition right now. And they have to figure out what in the 21st century the Republican Party means to overcome that.
Yeah. Well, They nominated Donald Trump, so there they go. That's the horse they've got to ride for now, at any rate. Hey, Benji, good work on MSNBC, and it was good of you to take some time for us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
MSNBC.com.
Follow us on Twitter at BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. Or a book report to give. I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school. I wish I was in school. I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
12 minutes before the top of the hour on this Thursday, August 25. And we say a great big happy birthday.
Yeah?
Yes.
Whose birthday is it?
Happy birthday. 100 years. Not as old as Donald Trump. Well, I'm sorry, a little older than Donald Trump. 100 years to the National Park Service, which is incredible. I think it's one of the greatest of all of our government agencies and departments. I've always thought that the best job in the world would be to be the director of the National Park Service.
Right.
Spend all your time, just going from one national park to the other. But when you think about it, what a great gift to the American people.
Yes.
And by the way, President Obama celebrated the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service by naming a new national monument yesterday up in Jamie's home state of Maine, the Katahdin Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument. It sort of surrounds Mount Katahdin, which is the highest mountain in Maine, Jamie, I believe.
That's correct.
Yeah. This is 87,000 acres of land that was donated to the federal government by one of the founders of Burt's Bees.
That's great.
Which is a great line of
absolutely
of skincare products.
Yeah.
And so the National Park Service has now 413 sites in every state and the District of Columbia. Of course, we have the National Mall.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And several territories, too, have either national parks or national monuments. And, when I was on vacation in California, I spent a good deal of time at the Point Reyes National Seashore, which is right near where we live in Inverness. It's a magnificent property there. Which parks have you visited?
Oh, I've been to several. I've been to Zion, which is gorgeous.
Zion is fabulous. We've been to Zion.
Yeah, the Smokies. I've done that one. One thing I will say is one of the things I love about the national parks is they are one of the last places in America where you could really hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they rely on you to just be like, look, these are wonderful, but these are wild, untamed things, and we're not gonna tame them. So if you go to Mount Zion and you make that the sort of the classic hike is Angel's Landing, right? You have to go up a very, very steep climb, and they just put up some chains there. But if you don't know what you're doing, and if you're not paying attention, you're dead. You will die.
Let me tell you, I've done that climb.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta tell you, it is freaky.
It's harrowing.
Oh, yeah. First of all, you go up that absolutely, totally vertical staircase.
Yeah.
Right? And when you get up there and you go out onto that ledge, onto Angel's Landing, and you cross that little, bridge, and they're aiming, you look down, man, you're dead.
You one bad move, and you're done. But, that's what nature is, right? It's untamed, it's wild, it's so unpredictable, and you just have to pay attention to be around it. But the other thing is, if a couple of years ago when Ken Burns did the National Parks documentary, one of the things that he pointed out is, other countries don't have this. They have great natural beauty, but they don't have the embarrassment of riches the way that we do when it comes to natural state and how beautiful some of it is. But we just have so much of it.
I know. Zion, the Grand Canyon, Yosemite. I just love Yosemite. Not far from here, Assateague. Point Reyes National Seashore on the West Coast, Assateague here. And they go on and on. And again, we have sort of the crown jewel here with the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And this is something that all Americans have access to. Yeah, you have to pay to get into most of them, but the fees are not that
It's
great.
very little.
Right.
And by the way,
I think this year for the 100th anniversary, all kids are free. Or there's some
It's free admission today for everybody.
It's free admission. Is that right?
It's free admission for everyone today, but there's also
this whole year. I think for school kids, maybe fourth graders.
Fourth graders, yeah. Because I have a fourth grader next year, and not only does the fourth grader, but their family gets in for free all year as long as they're a fourth grader. So we're actually planning a big national park trip to go and do a bunch of them next year when Magnus is in fourth grade.
Yeah. Teddy Roosevelt started it with the first national park, and every president has continued since. President Obama, I just read this morning, has actually put aside more land, public lands than any other president for national parks.
It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy birthday for all Americans. It's a birthday we can all celebrate the National Park Service, and I guess do yours. Celebrate in the right way, Get
outside.
Sometime this year, get to one of our
outside. Go to a park.
Great national parks. We got it. Okay. President Obama, speaking of whom, we'll tell you what he's up to today. Take a look at the president's schedule when we come back.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, no, we're not done yet. Hour number 2, just about over. But we're moving into hour number 3. You're going to have to wait around, remember, for Free Speech TV until 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central, 2 Pacific. But you can watch it right away on our video stream, youtube.com/TawkrTV. Easy enough if you want to jump over there. Olivia Nuzzi from the Daily Beast joins us in studio. at the top of the hour. Then we'll be joined by Matt Fuller from the Huffington Post. And as always, we look forward to your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Hour number 3 coming up.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Being prepared is a part of who you are. But it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for?
Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
This is the Bill Press Show.
President Obama, pretty light schedule today. He gets a daily briefing this morning. Then he meets with Defense Secretary Ashton Carter in the afternoon.
We might not be alone, Bill. We might not
I
be
don't
alone.
think we are.
So astronomers have discovered what they're calling a second Earth orbiting our closest star. They say that it could have the right conditions to sustain alien life forms. It's a mystery world. It's circling Proxima Centauri. It's a red dwarf star that's only 4 light years away.
Yes.
But they say that it's orbiting in the what they call the Goldilocks zone, right? Where it's just close enough to the star that water won't freeze, but far enough away that water won't boil. Or the other way around, I should say.
Yeah, right.
But you know, the presence of liquid is obviously necessary. But they say that this is perfect conditions for alien life.
Another Earth.
Another Earth. And it's really not that far from us.
Do they have a Donald Trump?
Speaking. Oh, God.
Well,
maybe that's where we could send him.
Well, no, I was thinking the opposite. Maybe that's where we could go to escape him.
Right, or that, yes.
I hope they have another Barack Obama.
Yeah, right? You know what? Barack Obama could be president in the new planet. So term limits don't impact that.
Solved it.
Let's go. Let's do this. What are we waiting for?
Lots of possibilities here. A whole new Earth. What good news.
This is the Bill Press Show.
He calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
Next.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
I wanted to find a bank with a purpose. I wanted to find a place that would take my money and not use it to cause the financial crisis, but to fix the financial crisis and to help end income inequality.
The people that we employ are usually clients right off the streets. They don't have an account, but Amalgamated is willing to get that started for them.
Their reputation of supporting the working man, I think, speaks for itself. This is a bank that cares for their customers, and I appreciate that.
We were able to access a construction loan through the bank's programs, and that loan has helped us house 28 families in the community.
Amalgamated is a bank that was started for and about working people.
Many of our customers have a deep commitment to advocating for social and economic justice. We share that commitment, and we're not afraid to stand up and say that we need to change some of the way that the country does business.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
The most important issue on this planet right now is to protect and conserve biodiversity in the world's oceans. And I don't think people realize just how intimate our connection is with the oceans themselves. Not only do they provide the very foundation of life and control our weather, but life just simply could not exist without a healthy ocean. The real problem, though, is apathy. It's all out of sight, it's all out of mind, and people don't even think about it. But it doesn't matter whether you live in Peoria or on the coast. The fact is, whatever happens in the ocean affects all life forms on the planet Earth. If the oceans die, then civilization collapses. We all die. We cannot live on this planet without the oceans. This is, in fact, not the planet Earth. It's the planet ocean, but because we're a land-dwelling species, we refer to it as Earth. But it is the planet ocean, and the oceans are the heart and the foundation of all life on the planet.
Taught him how to hit a baseball.
Just like that. Say hi!
How to hit a receiver.
Nice.
The strike zone. The net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
How about it? Good sign for Hillary Clinton. Clinton and Trump tied in North Carolina. Let's bring North Carolina back. Bring North Carolina back and make it blue again, just like Barack Obama did in 2008. Hey, hello, everybody. What do you say? Thursday, August 25. It is the Bill Press Show. You know, I'm counting on our good friends down at 880 The Revolution in Nashville, North Carolina, to lead the way.
They're going to make it happen.
Make it happen. Lead the way.
Make it happen.
In turning back, bringing back North Carolina.
And they might get rid of that governor, McCrory. He's down in the latest polls.
Yeah,
he's down 9 points in the latest
down
polls.
9 points.
We're going to turn North Carolina blue.
Boy, that'd be great. Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. The Bill Press Show on a Thursday. Good to see you today. And coast to coast, we are there with you everywhere in this great land of ours. We're right alongside of you on the radio and on television, on your local progressive talk radio station, and on Free Speech TV. Thanks for being part of the program today and how to be really part of it, which is tune in and sound off on the issues of the day. You can do so online, on Twitter at BP Show, or on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. Or, of course, you can give us a call, get your voice on the air at 866-55-PRESS. Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson on duty today, as always.
Let's go.
Hey, good morning.
Let's do it.
With Ray Rogers on the phones at 866-55-PRESS and Cyprian Bolding on the video cam for Free Speech TV and our worldwide video stream. Rudy Giuliani's been making the point that Hillary Clinton's not even going to live long enough to be president because she's so ill and in such poor health. So they wanted somebody to come out yesterday and say, what great health, what excellent health Donald Trump is in. Mm-hmm. So they said, well, it's, hey, how about a doctor? How about our doctor? How about Dr. Ben Carson? He will go out and confirm that Donald Trump is in excellent health. Ben Carson, I guess he didn't quite read the memo. Here he is.
I think that somebody who is running for president of the United States, particularly if they're elderly, and that would include both major candidates, should disclose their medical history. And I'm not talking about from a year ago or 2 years ago. I'm talking about currently.
Currently. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
elderly.
That elderly Donald Trump.
They're elderly, and that would include both major candidates.
Yeah, right. That elderly Donald Trump, he should release his medical records, right? Okay, Ben, go back to Baltimore. We don't need you
Go back to sleep, Ben.
We don't need you anymore.
I think Ben just sleeps in the chair until someone goes, "You're on, Dr. Carson." He just sort of barely opens it.
Didn't quite deliver the message that they expected. Matt Fuller from Huffington Post will be joining us a little bit later in this hour. And what are the facts about the Clinton Foundation? Is it as bad as Donald Trump says it is? Of course not. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. You know who had a very bad day yesterday was Hope Solo from the United States soccer team. She has been terminated as the goalkeeper of U.S. soccer. They said that it is because of, quote, conduct that is counter to the organization's principles, end quote. She was also suspended from the women's national team for 6 months. So she's just completely out. She's completely out. There's, obviously a chance that
she said something about
after they lost. She
Yeah.
said that they lost to a bunch of cowards when they lost to the Olympics. I mean, they were favored to win it all. They didn't even medal.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is probably a cumulative effect of Hope Solo sort of saying things that she shouldn't and acting in a way that she shouldn't, and she'd never really been punished for it. So I think
seems awfully severe, but
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. If it would be severe if it was just about those comments, and they have to sort of hide behind these comments to justify it. But I think that this is she's just been a headache.
Combination,
for them.
huh? Yeah.
She's been a headache for them for a long, long time. And now that the Olympics are over, they might not need her as much. They can start working with another goalkeeper. So that's it for Hope Solo. But I'm sure she'll find a way to stay in the spotlight. Just like another Olympian, by the way, Ryan Lochte. We found out yesterday that Dancing with the Stars has not revealed who their dancers will be, but it has been confirmed by a source that Ryan Lochte will be on Dancing with the Stars.
Why him of all people?
Well, you know, they have a sort of tradition of hiring people who might have fallen from grace or might be touched by a little bit of scandal. It's not uncommon for them to do it. The timing is really interesting because, this is a very fresh scandal. So they're striking while the iron is hot, and and they're hiring Ryan Lochte to.
He needs the money.
One of the he lost four of his
all
sponsors.
those sponsorships.
This could be a way for him to sort of rehab his image and.
I can just say, hey, hello, time delay. This is Ryan Lochte. Could you give me some tips on how to make a fool of myself on Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, you know. Loser. And we've talked about a boycott against Chick-fil-A before, but there is another boycott taking place right now, but for different reasons. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Chick-fil-A announced they were getting rid of their spicy chicken biscuit. They killed it off. You can't get it anymore. They replaced it with an egg white grill, which is a grilled chicken patty with egg whites. And,
this is an abomination, by the way.
I'm very
upset about this.
It doesn't look good. And the spicy chicken biscuit's one of the best things you can get in fast food. Well, here's the thing. Their Facebook page has been inundated with complaints. There are even people who have a boycott. They're trying to organize a boycott to Chick-fil-A until they bring back the spicy chicken biscuit. I'm going to read a quote. This is from Business Insider. They talked to some people. "I feel violated," says Crockett Gambrell. "I've been stopping at Chick-fil-A at least 2 or 3 times a week for years. I always got a spicy chicken biscuit. Why would they do this to me?" End quote. So, people are very upset.
The people have spoken.
Prediction, they're going to bring this back because it's just good business for them. I mean, that I can't imagine they weren't selling those spicy chicken biscuits and that this egg white grill is more popular. Not here in America. Not the America I know and love.
I can't speak to this. I still have never been to Chick-fil-A. So, there you go. So.
Missing out.
All right. But for your sake, I hope they bring it back, Peter. Yes, indeed.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. It is the dominant political issue of the week. Yes, indeed, Donald Trump has made it so. We are seeing, in effect, a new Donald Trump. As Susan Page told us earlier today, he has given 7 speeches in a row right now using the teleprompter. This is a new world's record. And maybe more stunning than that is the fact that Donald Trump, for 7 speeches in a row, has stayed on message. And his message is that the Clinton Foundation is corrupt. It's a scandal worthy of a special prosecutor, that the Clintons actually have enriched themselves through the Clinton Foundation, and is a classic case of pay to play, if you will. Here is Donald Trump 2 nights ago in Austin, Texas.
It is impossible to figure out where the Clinton Foundation ends and the State Department begins.
He went on to say in that same statement that the Clintons apparently, he said, there's no doubt about it, that they set up a business so they could profit from public service. And he added last night down in Tampa that over half of the people Hillary met with, the Secretary of State, were big donors to the foundation.
Now it looks like it's 50% of the people that saw her had to make contributions to the Clinton Foundation. Wait till you see ultimately what she did for all of those people.
Again, alleging that they're charging that they all got special favors from Hillary Clinton as a result of those meetings. Hillary Clinton herself last night joining members of her campaign who responded very aggressively yesterday, not only to what Donald Trump said, but to the source of his charges, which were a report by the Associated Press about her meetings in the first 2 years of her term as Secretary of State. Here she is. She's on the phone to Anderson Cooper last night on CNN.
I know there's a lot of smoke and there's no fire. This AP report, put it in context. It excludes nearly 2,000 meetings I had with world leaders, plus countless other meetings with U.S. government officials when I was Secretary of State. It looked at a small portion of my time, and it drew the conclusion and made the suggestion that my meetings with people were somehow due to connections with the foundation instead of their status as highly respected global leaders. That is absurd.
So this issue is out there. I did 2 shows on CNN yesterday, and this is all we talked about. And I think it's important to slow down and take a look at this and try to sort out what are the facts on the Clinton Foundation and what are the lies. Not surprisingly, most of what Donald Trump is saying is nothing but another big fat lie. And why should we surprise? He's lied about everything else in this campaign. But number one, he says this was a business they set up. No, it's not. It is a nonprofit foundation. He says they made a lot of money off this for themselves, enriched themselves. No, they did not. Totally not true. We know where the foundation spent its money. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, never took a penny of salary, nothing in their own pockets, not a penny of salary, no fees, no goodies from the foundation. They made their money giving paid speeches. That's another whole issue. They did not make any money themselves from the foundation. Third, he says that implies, of course, by calling for a special prosecutor, that there was something corrupt and illegal going on. Absolutely not true. By the way, there's also no evidence at all that any of these people who met with Secretary Clinton when she was Secretary of State got anything out of those meetings. There's not one shred of evidence, not one example of anybody who got anything because of a meeting with Hillary Clinton. But so the idea that anything happened is false. The idea, as I started there, that anything that was illegal or corrupt is also false. It is not against the law to call somebody up that you happen to know and say, would you be willing to meet with this friend of mine, and then setting up a meeting. It happens all the time in Washington, D.C. It happens all the time in the business world. There's nothing illegal about it. And also, the fact is, it was not, as Donald Trump implies, over half of the people that Hillary Clinton met with. The numbers are, in fact, that in her first 2 years, and the Associated Press, all they could get out of the State Department were the records for the first 2 years of her term as Secretary of State. During that time, she met with some 3,000 people. All of them were government officials, either for the United States or some other federal governments. It's important to know, except for 154 of them, 154 non-governmental officials she met with. 85 of them, of the 154, had given money to the Clinton Foundation. That means that amounts to 3%, a little less than 3% of the people she met with had actually given money to the foundation. And again, there's no evidence that they got anything out of those meetings. So those are the facts as opposed to the charges in the Clinton Foundation. But there's one other fact out there, and that fact is this does stink. It does leave a little smell. It does give the perception, if not the reality, that was all about pay for play. We must add, it's a little disingenuous, if not hypocritical, of Donald Trump to be the one raising this issue for a couple of reasons. Number one, he himself gave $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. So maybe he wanted part of the action, or he liked what they were doing, thought they were doing some good things around the world. Number two, remember when it was pointed out early in his campaign that he'd made all kinds of campaign contributions as a businessman to politicians left and right, Republican and Democrat? And Donald Trump said, he didn't deny it. He said, sure I did, like everybody else. I gave these contributions because I wanted to pay and play. I wanted to get favor. I knew I'd need some favors from them after down the road, so I gave them some money so I could pay and play. So, I mean, now he's accusing them of breaking the law by pay and play. Donald Trump, you're the last one to bring these charges. But still, there is a perception that this was the way to get to the Clintons, was to give money to the Clinton Foundation. This was the way to get to the Secretary of State. That perception is bad. That perception is unfortunate. And one thing for sure, that perception cannot follow Hillary Clinton all the way to the White House. So I think the conclusion is they did nothing wrong, a little sloppy, nothing wrong, certainly nothing illegal, kind of like the emails, a mistake to have these meetings, but not illegal. But can't happen in the White House, cannot happen in the White House. Once she's elected president of the United States, they've got to end the Clinton Foundation to erase, I believe, any shred of a charge that the Clinton White House is for sale.
Yeah, this is a problem that they've had for a long time, and you just have to get out in front of it, or else it's going to just hamper you.
Got to kill it
all the way through your presidency.
Got to pull
away.
the plug. And if this is the price Bill Clinton has to pay to get Hillary in the White House, that's the price he's got to pay.
Yep.
866-55-PRESS, being unfair? I don't think so. I think they've got to face reality here. Again, don't believe what Donald Trump is saying about it, but still, Clinton Foundation would be a problem if it's allowed to continue once she's in the White House. You let me know what you think, 866-55-PRESS.
Can't catch the entire show? Listen to BP in 3, where we turn 3 hours into 3 minutes. Find it every day at BP Show on Twitter or at BillPressShow.com.
Today, in this country, we are having a conversation about police violence, the killing of black men, and what all that means. It is sad that this is happening and that every day there's a new incident to cause us to keep thinking about it and talking about it. But it is extraordinary that the American people are having to deal with this every day, whether you're watching CNN or MSNBC, Fox, or ABC News. All the news channels are talking about police violence and what does that mean against black people. Many people probably look at that, certainly have looked at it in the past, and they have said that these poor black men are doing bad things, and that's why they are ending up in confrontations with police without any understanding of their lives of these poor black young men. Part of what has been going on for decades is that poor black people live in communities that suffer from hyper surveillance of the police. The police are more likely to be in their communities. The police are more likely to arrest them. The police are more likely to stop them even if they're not doing anything. And that is what is so hard for the American people to believe, that you would get stopped and searched and arrested by the police and not doing anything. But this is starting to come out as people are telling the stories over and over again. But this has been the condition, this hyper surveillance by police, making it more likely for people to get a record, to be known by the police, and then once they get in the system, it is almost impossible to get out because of the whole system of being on parole and missing an appointment or fraternizing with a person who has a criminal record, getting you right back in the jail, and then going back again and again and again. This is coming to be seen by the American people in a way that it has never been seen before. But why are people in these communities in the first place? That's getting peeled away. People are there because of housing discrimination. They are there because this is the only place where affordable housing can be found. They are there because that's where their families live, and people are drawn to being in communities where they are comfortable. The combination keeps people in these low-income communities where they are an easy target for hyper-surveillance and then everything that comes from it. And so as we think about these issues, we have to understand that while you as an individual in this society, as a white individual, you may not carry personal racism, but that does not keep the system from operating in a racist way.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
This is the Bill Press Show.
27 minutes after the hour, Matt Fuller from Huffington Post joins us in the next half hour here. The Bill Press Show. We're talking about the Clinton Foundation. Donald Trump charging it's the worst thing that's ever happened in American politics. Obviously, that's pure Trumpism, Trumpian tones. But it still is a problem I think the Clintons have to face and make a big decision about the Clinton Foundation once Hillary Clinton is the next president of the United States, if not before. Here's Jim from Clinton, Maryland. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
All right. What do you think?
First time caller, long time listener.
All right. Thank you, friend.
Hey, my opinion about this foundation thing with the Clintons is basically is just a bunch of nothing, basically. I don't believe they profited from anything because they would be facing tax fraud, number one. They would have to hide the money, so that doesn't make sense at all. And then my other comment would be, how come the media nor the Republicans had anything to say about Dick Cheney when he held secret meetings with oil companies in his house about splitting up the oil fields in Iraq?
Well, I tell you, this is one journalist who talked about the Dick Cheney thing way back. But no, you make a very good point. There is a double standard a lot of times when it comes to dealing with the Clintons. And you're also true, Jim, which I pointed out. There's no evidence at all. In fact, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. No evidence the Clintons ever profited personally from the foundation. They simply did not.
This is the Bill Press Show.
I have run these canyons
for 6 million years. I have traveled from the Rocky Mountains to the deserts, through scorching heat and freezing cold, from the land of the dinosaurs to fields of food.
I lend my hand to 7 states, 2 countries, 9 national parks,
and 36 million people across an arid West.
I am not the strongest or the largest, but I am the hardest working.
People love me.
My playfulness,
My beauty.
my power,
My life. But I don't think I can offer any more.
I am tired.
I am tired,
tapped,
and tied. Of the hundreds of major rivers in the world, I am one of the few who no longer kisses the sea.
Battles to harness my soul have been won and lost. Use me wisely, and I will sustain you.
Use me like you have, and I will break. My name
is
Red. The Grand River Red. The American Nile.
The Canyon Maker. I am the Colorado River.
And I am the most endangered river in America.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go now at 33 minutes after the hour, Thursday, August 25. The Bill Press Show. We are here in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. That's where we're based. But actually, we are everywhere you are in this great land of ours, on the radio and on television, where we're brought to you today by the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the good men and women of the Teamsters Union under President Jim Hoffa. Just had their big convention out in Las Vegas. They're on the job. Check out their good work at their website, teamster.org. Teamster.org. Well, we're talking about the Clinton Foundation and what should happen to it. And whether there's any truth at all to the charges that Donald Trump has made. Typical Donald Trump fashion, going way overboard and accusing the Clintons of basically committing a crime, of profiting, setting up a business so they could profit from it. Over half of all the people that Hillary Clinton met with had to give money to the foundation first in order to get a meeting with her. None of that is true, but there were some meetings set up which should not have happened. It gave the impression of pay to play. That was unfortunate while she was Secretary of State. In my judgment, that cannot continue which I do expect when, not if, she's in the Oval Office. And as no matter all the wonderful things the Clinton Foundation has done, they're just going to have to accept the fact that you can't have one arm of the Clintons raising money around the world, no matter for what cause, and Hillary Clinton as President of the United States. That's a clear conflict of interest, and the foundation is just going to have to shut down. Again, that's the price of having Hillary Clinton the next President of the United States. 866-55-PRESS. Cindy has a point of view here from Holland, Michigan. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. What do you think?
My question is, if you have said, and you have, that the Clinton Foundation needs to shut down if Hillary is president, why didn't the Points of Light Foundation have to shut down?
Because it was formed after George H.W. Bush was president.
Oh, after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's
By the way,
fine point that
Cindy,
I didn't know.
That foundation has done a lot of good things, by the way. So has the Carter Center. So has the and the Clinton Foundation. But, there's an interesting one is Eric Trump, the son, right?
Yes.
Has a foundation to benefit St. Jude's Hospital, which is a wonderful institution as well.
Yeah.
So I was on CNN yesterday, and the question was asked of a Trump supporter, well, from what you say about the Clinton Foundation, if Trump were elected, God forbid, right, would you have to shut down the Eric Trump Foundation? And it was Kayleigh McEnany, and she said, "Oh no, that's different." And I just said, "No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. That's no, I did not hear that, and I listen to CNN all the time.
Yeah,
so
I just thought it was funny that they were kind of setting up a double standard for the.
Well, well, of course there is. That's all he can base his speeches on is a double standard.
But and I say that with regret because the Clinton Foundation has done some wonderful, wonderful things, particularly in providing HIV/AIDS medication all around the world. But I just think, and President Obama, look, he banned any lobbyist from having anything to do and having any job in his administration because he wanted to be sure it was crystal clean, right? And I think the Clintons are going to have to do the same thing, and I think they will. Anyhow, good to hear from you, Cindy. Thanks so much for your call. Thanks for being out there in Bill Press land.
Yeah, man.
Country. Holland, Michigan.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know where Holland, Michigan is. By the way, the campaign yesterday this was not the only issue that was talked about. Donald Trump brought in a Brit.
We haven't talked about this story yet. It's
crazy that the guy who led the charge to get out of the European Union, Brexit, right, or Brexit as they called it, Nigel Farage, comes to the United States to support Donald Trump.
We should point out, by the way,
and they go to Mississippi.
Mississippi of all places.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, by the way, that after Brexit, there were some calls for Barack Obama to sort of make a statement on it or get involved somehow. And Nigel Farage was very loud and vocal in saying, we should not have the leader of another country come here and tell us who to vote for or how to do our politics.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So,
well, Barack Obama did
go
to England. He did say he would vote Remain. He encouraged the Brits to vote Remain, which, by the way, was still the right thing to do.
Of course.
This is crazy what they did. But you're right. Nigel Farage attacked President Obama for interfering in British politics. Now he has come here interfering in American politics appearing with Donald Trump, introduced him yesterday and telling people he's the guy they've got to vote for. So first of all, here's Farage last night in Mississippi, again repeating his criticism of President Obama.
He treated us as if we were nothing, one of the oldest functioning democracies in the world. And here he was telling us to vote Remain.
No, that's not exactly treating them like they were nothing, right?
Yeah.
He was just saying, if you're smart, you'll vote Remain. And Nigel says, now, forget about the pollsters, forget about what they say about Donald Trump. You can still win this election.
You can go out. You can beat the pollsters. You can beat the commentators. You can beat Washington.
Oh, go home.
So here's an interesting little insight. I think last week Gabriel De Benedetti from Politico was here, and he said he follows Hillary Clinton a lot, and he said that one of the things that she's so good at is she goes to a local, she'll go to a city, she'll make her speech, she'll talk to people, and the next day the local newspapers, all the headlines say Hillary Clinton promises more jobs to blank county,
right, Youngstown,
or whatever.
Ohio,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump is out there, and he really doesn't care about that. He really wants to just get the national headlines, and it has never been more evident than this right here. I bet you most of Mississippi couldn't point to England on a map, much less tell you who the hell Nigel Farage is. I mean, collectively, we've already sort of moved on past Brexit as a country because it's not us, but specifically him. Jackson, Mississippi? They don't know who he is. I spent a summer roofing houses in Jackson, Mississippi. I promise you, they don't know who this guy is. They don't know. So what good does this do Donald Trump by bringing him to Mississippi, of all places? Nothing.
You were a roofer?
I did as a charity thing. I did as a charity thing.
Wait, hold on a second.
You buried the lead here,
I
David.
roofed houses in Jackson, Mississippi for a summer.
11 years, the two of you together, and you're just finding that out?
I did it over the summer as I mean, it wasn't community service, but
It's
it was
not the first thing I would have asked anybody.
Jackson, Mississippi, they don't. I mean, it's not the type of place that they would go, oh, this is the guy who led Brexit.
We're going to follow the lead of
Right.
Nigel Farage.
It's just not going to happen.
All right.
I'll give you some tips on how to roof houses afterwards.
Yeah, I'm still trying to
Stay
deal with
hydrated,
it. I'm
that's all I
still
can tell
trying
you.
to process that little bit of information here. And we're going to hear more on a whole different front today from Hillary Clinton. A major speech planned where she is going to talk about Donald Trump appealing to the worst elements of the American political scene, the extreme right wing, which some people refer to, and she does too, as the alt-right crowd. And she, in a phone conversation with Anderson Cooper last night, she said, these are the people. These are the people that Donald Trump is targeting. His speech is directed at
is taking a hate movement mainstream. He's brought it into his campaign. He's bringing it to our communities and our countries. And, someone who's questioned the citizenship of the first African-American president, who has courted white supremacists, who's been sued for housing discrimination against communities of color, who's attacked a judge for his Mexican heritage and promised a mass deportation force, is someone who is, very much peddling bigotry and prejudice and paranoia.
Yeah, sums it up.
It sure does. And I mean, this is the guy, remember, who first pretended he had no idea who David Duke was. And then refused to repudiate David Duke's endorsement. So he really is reaching out to the worst elements, playing on their fear, but also playing on their bigotry. And then Donald Trump had the audacity to turn around last night in Tampa with in Jackson, Mississippi, with Nigel Farage. And make this charge about Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton is a bigot.
That's not how
Where do you go with that?
This isn't how debate works, where someone calls you a name and then you just call them the same thing with no merit whatsoever.
But what's stunning, and again, I love your comments on this, 866-55-PRESS is, and we talked with Susan Page a little bit earlier in the program, those of you who were with us in our first hour about this, is that this campaign is not based on issues to the extent that there is a campaign.
Yeah.
To the extent that there are two campaigns side by side. This election is not based on any of the issues. This election is not based on American people looking at these candidates and saying, now, which one is going to do what for me? Or which one is going to do more for this for America or that for America, or take us in that direction, this direction, or that direction? This campaign is really based on, particularly from Donald Trump's side, it's just one personal attack after another.
Yeah.
The same thing that happened in the primary, he is making this his MO for the general campaign. I can't believe it will work, and I think it's important for the American people that it not work. 866-55-PRESS, our toll-free number. Your thoughts on that and other aspects of the 2016 coming up here on the Bill Press Show.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is the Bill Press Show.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. Or a book report to give. I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school. I wish I was in school. I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we are, 11 minutes before the top of the hour. You will all be interested in the breaking news here this morning. We have talked about the possibility of, Jeff Bezos from Amazon was the first one to mention drone deliveries.
Yeah.
They have started in New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yes. Domino's Pizza won the first government permission to experiment with pizza delivery by drones in certain parts of New Zealand. This is just on a trial basis. If it works, they're going to be able to deliver nationwide in New Zealand.
Hope it doesn't.
I don't know.
Domino's.
I don't know. That's right.
Don't eat Domino's pizza, first of all.
The good news is the drones will work. The bad news is they're going to be delivering Domino's pizza. Yeah, right. But it's interesting that this should start in New Zealand, of all places.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they left their pizza there. I don't know. I mean, whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat. If you're so hard up for pizza that you're going to get Domino's via drone.
I know, but to my knowledge, drone deliveries haven't started here. I mean, they've been talked about, but haven't started here, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
No.
we'll have to keep our eye on this.
New Zealand leading the way.
There they go.
In pizza delivery technology.
Yeah. And just wrapping up here today before we close on a couple of things that we haven't had a chance to really talk about. One is we talk all the time about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. What about that other guy, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate? He was on CNN yesterday, and he actually made some sense when it comes to immigration reform.
Look, we should embrace immigration. These are really hardworking people that are taking jobs that U.S. citizens don't want. So make a system, get a system in place, work visas that just make it easy to cross over the border. And with regard to the 11 million that are here, I mean, he's also talking about deporting them, but bringing them back. Look, they're here because they couldn't get across legally. And you or I would be doing the same thing if it were our families, and the fact that jobs exist. I can't get across the border, so the only way I can get those jobs is if I cross illegally. That's the reason for 11 million undocumented workers.
Makes a lot of sense all the way around. Libertarian candidate for president, right? Yeah, of course. You know, it's just some common sense when it comes to immigration reform. And I might point out, that may sound radical. It's the same conclusion that Ronald Reagan came to back in 1984 when there were just 5,000 people here estimated who were here illegally. And President Reagan said, obviously, we're not going to send them all back. They are living here. They're contributing to building a better America. They've got jobs. They've got families. They're paying taxes. And so let's find a path to citizenship and then tighten up the border, which, of course, they failed to do. But and he said, in fact, we ought to offer these people what he called amnesty. That was Ronald Reagan then, right? And the Republican Party today is saying we're going to round up 11 million and send them back.
There's also something to be said about the fact that Donald Trump is not softening his tone on immigration.
No.
Even if he is changing
I don't care what he says.
Even if he is changing it a little bit, right? It's not softening. It's lying. He lied to the Republican base for all this time because he knew they'd take the bait. And even if he now thinks he can change it and win, it's not a softening. It's a going back on a lie. It's called a flip-flop. It's what got John Kerry in a lot of trouble when he ran for president.
And one other final point we got to mention, a big day yesterday when Bernie Sanders launched the political movement he's been talking about for a long time up in Burlington, Vermont. It is called Our Revolution. It's going to be headed up by his campaign manager, Jeff Weaver. It was going to get out and push progressive legislation and, most importantly, support progressive candidates for state legislature, the United States Congress, and U.S. Senate around the country so we can really get some things done. Here is Bernie Sanders with a big announcement yesterday.
As I have said a million times, and what I believe in the essence of my soul, is that real change never, ever takes place from the top on down. It's not some guy signing a bill. It always takes place from the bottom on up.
And so Bernie is going to rally his supporters around the country in this new movement, Our Revolution, and bring about progressive change. Feel the burn. We can still feel the burn. and parting shot coming up next.
Your progressive headquarters for the 2016 election. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is The Bill Press Show.
You know, in order to decide what to do about the Clinton Foundation, it's important to know the facts. Donald Trump says the Clintons set up a business to profit from public service by setting up meetings between donors to the foundation and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Here are the facts. Fact, foundation's not a business. It's a nonprofit foundation. Fact, the foundation's done a world of good, helping some 430 million people in 180 different countries. Fact, Bill and Hillary Clinton have taken no salary, no fees, not a penny for themselves from the foundation. Fact, out of over 3,000 people Hillary met with in her first 2 years as Secretary of State, only 154 were non-government officials, and 85 of them had given money to the foundation. That's 3% of all the people she met with. But another fact, there's still the perception the Clintons were guilty of pay for play, and that has to end when she's president by ending the Clinton Foundation. My parting shot for today, Matt Faciligamero is here as a friend of Bill tomorrow.
This
We'll
is the
see you
Bill
then.
Press Show.